thing, which I keep wondering about, and I sort of suspect I have some answers, but I'm not very sure. Is this how different, in reality, how different are is the leadership style of women as compared to men?
Okay. So yeah, before I think it's a question which again from my experience I can share some bit, and before I get started on the questions and start answering, just a simple sharing that all the probably answers that I'll be giving here, or probably the interaction that I'll be doing, will be more in general. What I've observed in my own experience in the last little experience that I have in the big corporates, also the same gender friends that I have in different other places working in different other capacities. So not particularly the answer that I'll be giving will be my experience. They will be maybe a sum total of some reading, a sum total of certain experiences, a sum total of other members what they are going through, and I'll try and answer in my capacity the best. Yeah. So coming to your question, Doctor, I think it's extremely different. I would not even say that slightly different. It's extremely different, and the roots of that I think stem from the very being of how males and females are. So if you see men in general are go-getters, in general are very direct, in general are the ones who are very clear about command and control, in general are the ones who go and chase. So that's the inherent nature in general. However, if you see females, even outside of work, they are generally very collaborative. They are generally who like being in groups, who are generally more socializing. So the same pattern I think they carry to their workplace as well. So men, if you see at workplace, they'll be very clear about, okay, this is the target and this is what we need to achieve, and they're very comfortable in using the approach of command and control. And the team also is very comfortable in taking that from a man. However, when it comes to a woman, even at workplace, you would see her collaborating a lot, trying and taking opinion of others, ensuring that team members are comfortable of co-creating an idea, and probably not too much resorting to a command and control style. I think it's more of a collaborative work style. So that's the main difference that lies in there. And apart from that, I think females are also in general very expressive in their out of workspace. They don't shy away from probably showing their vulnerabilities in general, talking of the hardships or the good things that they have achieved. So same expression comes at workplace as well. So even in front of their team members, they generally tend to be more expressive, more sharing, even certain things that they don't know, approaching people to know about it. Generally don't come across as I know it all and you just follow what I'm saying kind of an approach.
All right. So essentially, what I heard is that men are more focused on command and control, while women are more collaborative, right?
Yeah, so the other way to say it is that the command and control style is very acceptable for men, and that's been going on for many many years. If you see the entire civil services, bureaucracy, British time, all of this was very command and control style. So this is acceptable for ages. However, for females, this was never the style. In fact, earlier females was not even a representation. So now, when they are coming, the corporate culture, or rather the work culture, still has a set style of command and control as a comfort zone, wherein females they don't have that inherent in them. So to fit in that is something maybe a few females might be adapting to it, but somewhere that's not very natural to their nature, including myself.
So coming from a 4.0 industry 4.0 background, with that and what you just said, women are more attuned to industry 4.0 than men would be. That's a comment from me. Not, I don't expect you to answer that, but
Yeah. Before people form an opinion that the conversation probably is more pro females and lopsided on females, answer to that is no. I think we're just trying to bring out a section or a side which is more subtle, which is not so vocal and being talked about, or not so much in black and white. So I like men equally as much as women. That's all I would want to say. But I really want to talk about females because these subjects are not to, they require to be brought to light. That's why. Yeah.
Good, thank you. With that, so I think that's a natural answer to my next question, which was what kind of leaders do women make? So, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah. I think Rohit, somewhere with the changing times, the way we are looking at it, even as a person, as a very ambitious person who started her career, for myself, I would say, from the very beginning, I have been very anti being micromanaged. Like if somebody tells me that shut your brain or shut your mind, just do this. So for some period, maybe I'll do it, but after a point, I would just feel that where's my intelligence coming to use? Where's my skill coming to use? So somewhere when it's very much command and control style in place, we risk that kind of a feeling in our team members, which again in the early times or probably in the recent past also was an acceptable thing by the team members, that the seniors are just telling what needs to be done and they will execute. However, with this entire millennial thing and members knowing their strengths, being so exposed, having a vast knowledge about topics, they really want to be heard, somewhere they feel like collaborating, co-creating. So what I see generally, the strength that females bring on board is this collaborative space wherein
Hmm.
people feel they're being heard, team members feel they're being heard, and they feel that they're co-creating something along with the senior person. So somewhere I think that females have that strength, and that unknowingly is coming to the surface in corporates, which is a great strength, because when the team is feeling more empowered, more heard, not necessarily that the female has to accept whatever is coming from the team, but having heard them definitely gives them more acceptance of the final decision.
Right. Um, Coming from, say, a management perspective, and talking of management styles, uh, would you say that women are more prone to the democratic management style rather than the dictatorial? Would that be correct? In that assumption, would I be correct?
Largely yes, largely yes. However, I would just say that it comes with a lot of challenge and struggle, because unfortunately even now the workforce tone is defined as per it's coming for many years, and which is very male dominant by the virtue of numbers in general. So the ones who are seen as performing and are the performers, are the go-getters, are the ones who are direct and the chase. They're very clear about things. At the same time, and even if as a female I want to adopt that kind of a working style, say for that matter, the expectation of being a female, being soft and nice, still remains. If tomorrow if I become very very strict and just ask for number, just ask for things, if you ask me black and white whether I'll be looked at as just a go-getter like any other male counterpart, answer to that is strictly no. Because somewhere the expectation which is still in gray, that being a female member, you're supposed to be soft, you're supposed to be nice, you're supposed to be understanding, also remains, and in mindsets of males as well. And you would have heard, like there's so many taglines or tags which are given to females probably who are very cutthroat. They've been given names as too manly, too brash, snooty, not approachable, arrogant, even some even very low terms also. How many such tags are given to males? Hardly any as such, because a male is seen as a go-getter and very clear command and control person, and wherein a female is expected both. She has to be a go-getter, somebody who chases targets, yet somebody very soft, nice, understanding. And if you see, the two are not meeting. The two can't go hand in hand together. So somewhere each female I still feel is beautifully probably the one who's figuring a way out, is not giving up, still is ambitious, is beautifully figuring out her own ways of being and her own ways of carving a path which might help the ones who are coming in line. And that's where I'm here to discuss my ways.
Yeah. So, what I hear is that this could be a challenge, maybe
Yeah,
a
it is.
challenge
It
to
definitely
growth.
is. It definitely see first take very small example challenges as small as which will never come to discussion, but how they impact you. A workplace anyway, largely especially in India, they are heavy with males. How many females are there? From and the more hierarchy starts, like the more middle to top management, the more skewed the numbers are. So a female is already a very lonely person the way she starts growing in the culture. And again, it has no representation to my existing organizations. They are
Sure,
really good in maintaining that. But
sure.
in general, if you see, female is generally a lonely character in the overall shop floor or rather the workspace. Hardly one or two more to mingle with. Wherein, if you see the number of males which are already there, are many more, and such subtle things that if there is a senior who's a boss who's a male, so he can definitely come and just pat on the back of a male colleague. Can he do the same with a female? No. He can just go on a cigarette break with a male colleague. Can he go with a female colleague? No. If he goes, there will be certain discussions which can start. So female has to be very cautious. A lot of talks happen in and around her, though even if she's great at work, still certain talks happen. If she's not good at work, yet is easygoing, socializing, many more talks happen. So somewhere I think that a female is under much more mental stress also in general than males, because again the acceptable form of at workplace being at workplace is of male defined, not female defined.
That's a very powerful statement. That when you say that the expected form or the expected way of work is male defined and not female defined, and I think that's a very valid point. I'm not an expert in this, but more or less logically, I guess you're probably right, and maybe that's something one should keep in mind. You know that there are certain definitions, and as in a collaborative environment, as a woman is operating in a collaborative environment, maybe that environment should be created for her as well. You know, and
Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
yeah, so I hope, because 4.0 is all about mostly about collaboration in every sphere. I'm sorry I keep harping back to that, but what I'm figuring out in my head is that maybe a very potent and powerful workforce can be found in the form of women for 4.0, and I really mean that.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah. So when I see all, that's the reason my connection with whiteboard so much, because from the very beginning, the way it's taking females along, because only thing that can actually really make a difference is when more representation is there. So the new ways are defined from the very beginning. It's not
Hmm.
force fitted. It's not read and
Yes.
done. So somewhere this 4.0 and whiteboards efforts are very much in the direction that understanding all these bits from the beginning and taking it along so that such challenges are not there in future. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Thanks.
happy to see this.
Well, thank you for that. I assure you, it was not by design; it was by default.
Okay.
Yeah, by design, we didn't want to become a completely militarized, kind of a force. We are very democratic, so maybe that's the reason. I don't know. Whatever. Um, and which brings me to another point, and this is again my curiosity. Uh, and after this, I'm going to let some questions come in from the viewers as well. I won't hog all the
Sure.
space, but I had to ask this. Um, we hear a lot or read a lot about cat fights. Women to women rivalries, uh, relationship issues, etc., etc. At the workplace. Uh, how true or not true uh, is this phenomena one reads about? I know
As
that's a loaded
this topic
question, but
again.
I
Yeah.
know you'll work your way around it.
Yeah. Yeah. So somewhere I think that this one word, catfight and jealousy in women, is something that literally riles me up. It literally stings me somewhere, that how trivial people have made females. Like, they've found it so easy that if there's any sensible, logical one-on-one discussion also happening between two females in a meeting, how trivial they've made their entire bit just by saying cat fight has started, or women can't stand women at workplace. It's literally bull crap. Nowhere that exists. Like, in my experience of last 7+ years of working now, I don't remember a single instance, be it with juniors. And I've been very, very fortunate to have had bosses also females. I've been extremely fortunate to have my team members also as females, and not even a one single instance also that I would have come across where jealousy or catfight is prevailing over logic and work. Nowhere at all. Rather, in fact, if you ask me, in my own career, the best mentor or the best uh, boss that I've had was a female. And the acceptance that I
Imrana.
felt, Imrana Sheikh, literally, she's now
Yeah.
heading the entire Asia Pacific HR of J&J. And till yesterday rather, I told her that I'm doing this talk, I'm trying to follow your footsteps. She was sharing her bit. So till date, we are so much in touch. We keep sharing our good, bad, whatever, personal, professional, whatever. That's the
Mm.
bond that we actually felt in the 1.5 years that we worked together. Same way, when I was with Asian Paints earlier, I had my juniors, two of the juniors, immediate juniors were females. Every weekend, time and again, we have video calls. Because why? Like, it had it been just boss and junior relationship because of which they were listening to me, then this would have not happened after I left the company. We are still so much
Right.
in touch. And
Right.
now again at the L'Oreal also, in my team, I have females. And I would say that not to undermine the caliber of males, but probably they are the one of the very good performers that I have, and I feel challenged a lot of times with the entire sincerity, integrity, and fun also that they bring to my overall professional experience. So I think somewhere maybe this entire women catfight trivialization entire thing happened way past in the history, when females hardly had any space, any representation. So maybe they were struggling too much to have a representation in the males. There were so many males, so hardly for a female to find a place for herself, she might have to outplay other females to have a representation in the first place, which might have, again, I'm from my common sense I'm talking, which at that point in time might have led to this feeling that a female is cutting off the other female because of the, if you see even reservations, even if you see even the top management for that matter, big corporates also, they would put numbers that in my top management, representation of females has to be this much percentage, which hardly is a very little number defined. So for female, and they know that they are competing with other females. So it's very clear. It's as simple as a competition when there are 100 people, of which only two can reach that position. So those two will do anything and everything to reach that position. And if you name that competition as cat fight or female rivalry, it's a very petty, literally a very, very petty thing to see people putting such tags, because the way you have defined it's very, very male dominant. You're only giving very few positions in the name of diversity also. And even when you take females in the workplace, you generally make them feel that you have come because we are focusing on diversity, not because you've been equal or you've been very competent. Again, it has no reflection to my existing or the past organization, but that's how it generally happens, that females are taken because, and the talks go on like that, that we need to have more female representation, board is a mandate to have so much of female representation. So how would a female who's even entering feel about it? She herself will be in doubt whether I'm intelligent enough or I'm being taken because they needed numbers, which is a very, again, something very subtle, something which is never spoken, but females, they do feel all of this at the workplace, and these things need to be corrected. And I think correction will only happen when females who've gone through all of this, have felt all of this, they reach the top to build a culture which is more inclusive, which takes care of such sentiments, which takes care of such trivialization, and build a very strong culture which is equal for men and women.
I agree, to completely agree with you. And Unless there are more women at the top, I don't think that will percolate down so soon, right? Uh, but then again, there's another side to the day-to-day working culture, right? Uh, for example, a male boss can be extremely strict, maybe a little aggressive with um, males who are reporting to him, reportees, right? But if he tries to do that with a female reportee or even a female colleague, for that matter, uh, things could spin out of control, especially in today's scenario where there's a harassment law in place, and you know there's a question mark on the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So how would you respond to that?
So, Rohit, in this, I would say that as much as understanding required on the other side to accept females and make the workplace very conducive for them to perform, the equal onus and responsibility lies on females as well. Number one, to be strong enough to be themselves, at the same time to not take advantage of being females at workplace. So again, it's a very subtle or gray thing to say, but if you are trying to compete equally, if you are trying to reach a position which is equivalent to men, somewhere at workplace, then gender doesn't play when it comes to targets, timelines, projects. So the situation, if it's coming that a male boss has to think twice to become aggressive with a female junior versus a male junior, that already is a reflection of the fact that the female is not performing enough or is not able to probably grasp what is required out of her. So it can be situation to situation, it can be differing, that maybe there's not too much of comfort wherein they have openly been sharing what is required, there's a gap of communication, whatnot. But if everything has happened, there's a good bonding that they share in general. However, time and again the male boss finds that he needs to be aggressive in order to get things done out of a female junior, I think then it's a question on her competency and as well as the willingness to deliver, which should be dealt as strictly as for any male junior. There should not be two ways to it.
With no reaction.
With no reaction, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course.
So I think I'll let some other people have the questions answered. Let me not hog your time. Shalini, are there any questions from the
Yeah,
audience?
there's so many questions and a few other common questions which you already asked. Like there's one question which is on you through YouTube. That is, what are certain ways that women can overcome workplace challenges and rise in career?
Yeah. So first thing that female has to accept that we are still in times when things are changing and changing for good for women. So the flexibility and the mindset that things wouldn't be ready-made available the way I want, yet there lies flexibility and opportunity enough for me to carve my way, needs to be the mindset. So if you enter with that flexibility in your mind, you might not be disappointed at every instance when you feel I'm not being heard, I'm not being represented equally, or probably the numbers of females are lesser when compared to males. This is male dominated, because you've already accepted it. We can't change things overnight. But yes, this talk even happening is clearly a representation of the fact that people are willing to change. Overall system is changing. We are in the times when we are trying to change. So yes, I take it very positively, and that's how the mindset should be. At the same time, the other thing in the mind should be that I'm representing a position, I'm holding a position. I'm not a female who is sitting on that seat. Whosoever is sitting has certain responsibilities to cater, irrespective of the gender. So you need to be a go-getter. You can have your own ways of being a go-getter. You can be collaborative, you can be command and control, you can have a combination of the two situation-wise. That's your own working style. But somewhere you cannot dilute what is expected out of the role. So respect the role that you are handling and be very flexible and very, very strong in your standing that this is who I am. Maybe the workplace is not exactly defined the way I am. Maybe there'll be certain hiccups in the way I'm going to perform in my ways of being, because that's not a very acceptable norm. But I'm not going to change 100% to fit in, because the minute you fit in, you lose your strength of who you are. So, and again, it's a very good, it's a combination rather, and I enjoy that combination wherein you have to be very receptive to the environment also, understand that people are like that, why are they like that? If the certain expectations are coming to you, why they are coming to you. It's not that specifically somebody's anti-females, it's just that they don't know how to be around them. Maybe see, there have been times when I have been given teams of males and females both. Males have taken a lot of time to become comfortable with me. They get sometimes they just get intimidated with a female boss who's come new. And later, after some time, they themselves have come and said, initially when you had come, I was not very comfortable talking. Generally, I'm not very comfortable around females. But now I find you very approachable. Now it's very comfortable. So you have to accept all of that. So did I start reacting in the first 2 months when the males were not talking to me? Answer to that is no, because somewhere we know it, we accept it, that it's still the gender divide remains. There are certain ways of outside, and take it like that, that when we are at home, when we are in market, when we are outside of workplace, we are very flexible, we understand how it's functioning. So same learning and understanding needs to be taken to the workplace without disturbing the timelines and the final objectives that we are supposed to attain.
Thanks. And one more question is there from Janvi Thakur from Facebook. What could be the likely impact of pandemic on women attrition and related impact on overall business, workplace?
Okay, I think that's a brilliant question, Janvi. And somewhere me and the senior that I was mentioning to you, the other female, we got discussing on this yesterday itself. We were talking. And the answer to this seems to be, unfortunately, on a very negative side. Because if you see in pandemic, people are feeling more being burned out, because somewhere, and especially in the work from home culture, the entire boundary between work from home and work at home gets very diluted. So people have, and especially for females, because when they are at home, by their nature itself, at the same time the family also being at home at the same time in the same house, the expectation also from the female is more diluted, that okay, do this also, do that also, and do the work also. That does not somewhere I think females generally are feeling much more burned out than males. And in this, I would say the females who are feeling much more burned out than males are the ones who are married, are the ones who are maybe little mature in their overall personal stage wherein they have kids. And the ones especially with kids, so are finding it really, really difficult, because the ones with kids earlier, at least for them, schools, creches, those were the places where the kids would go for some time and the females would have complete mental space to themselves to focus on their work. Now with kids being at home, and again, as societal acceptance, the males who are collaborating and supporting females at home, taking care of kids equally, are being considered to be too good males to be doing that, and too good husbands to be doing that. But is that the expectation from them, or is that the responsibility that they're supposed to do and are doing? The answer in bookish language could be yes, but in reality, and especially in Indian context, is no. So what we envisage and are already seeing, that females are now willing to take a step down. More attrition is likely to come because of this entire burned out issue that females are facing because of the pandemic and being so loaded.
That's really serious, I think, right?
It is. It's again, Rohit, something which is not spoken, something in gray, but that's how it has played on females.
I didn't know this.
Even
And,
other, even Yeah, even if you see in general also the working females, I think they work in two shifts rather, like except for the ones who are earning really well, and I'm representing here one and all rather. So I would want to speak on their behalf as well. The ones probably who are earning just decent enough to make a living to have the house going. How many of them are having too many domestic helps as such? Too many, probably a cook at place, probably a domestic help at place. Hardly any. So they do. I would say that they're working in two shifts. Morning they cook, clean, and come. They go back, cook and clean. Then they look after kids for their education. Throughout the day, they're anyway doing office, and then they have office backlog also sometimes coming back at home. So imagine the load that a female goes through, a working female, especially the one who's not making enough money and not having very understanding background.
Mhm.
Richa, yes. Yeah. Yes, Rohit, you want to say something?
No, no, go ahead, please.
Okay. Richa from YouTube, she wants to ask how women leadership is different from men leadership.
I think
Okay, I
she's
think this
already
is something
answered that.
uh,
I think Richa
in the
missed
beginning
it.
itself I have taken.
That's why maybe she's asking again.
So maybe she missed it. She'll have to. She can,
See the recording.
see the recording. One very one very interesting observation for your feedback, Akshata. Uh, the viewership is equally split between men and women.
The men there, please don't hate me. I've told in the very beginning I like you equally. I'm just representing the other side today.
No, but what is interesting is that these people, the male folk, I mean, uh, they have the interest to understand
Yes, yes,
this.
yes.
And that's what
Yeah,
came as an eye opener when I just got the statistics.
yeah.
Really, that's very encouraging, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, Rohit. You know, like somewhere I'm so glad that this is happening in this session. And in my previous role when I was handling CSR, and I remember the when we were working on this entire again gender issue, gender bias,
yeah.
women harassment uh, in the rural area especially. So we as a team we were very anti that why only focused female groups are discussing this. As a female, am I the one who's harassing another female? No, right? Then why this entire discussion of what's going on how it needs to be changed should happen only between females? It's only probably will become a platform of coming, sharing, and not still changing the environment, because the ones who maybe unfortunately are the ones who are causing it, knowingly or unknowingly, are out of the discussion. So I think that entire discussion on this gender, female, be it diversity, be it harassment, be it upliftment, be it employment, needs to have rather higher involvement of men than women. Even a few women can represent the complete set, but the changes that need to be brought in, the acceptance that needs to be brought in, needs to come from the other side. So I'm very, very happy that the representation is equal. Glad.
Well, it's just gone up to about 70%. The latest
Oh, lovely.
figures. And they're mostly from tier 2 and tier 3. Your metros are Indian
Brilliant.
metros
Brilliant.
are not represented, and a lot from the West Indies, which is
And
surprising.
these are
It's
the
very
ones.
late there. Very late there. Yeah. Well, one question from my side, Akshata, and I've been thinking about
Yeah, do it.
this. Uh, as per my reading or information, could be wrong, could be right, I don't know. But world over, globally, everybody is on that same level as far as inclusion of women in the workforce goes, right? And I'm talking of senior levels, I'm not talking of junior levels. Okay.
Yeah.
Where is India compared to this?
Where's India, you're asking?
Where is India in comparison to the rest of the globe?
I would say, Rohit, I think part of what I said in the previous question that India still is at the stage where things are changing. And unfortunately, COVID has come at a very, very bad time, because The times when they were the numbers were seen more encouraging, wherein even at management trainee levels, females were equally entering, wherein even at the middle and senior management level, representation was going up. This entire pandemic has come in, and we see it as negatively impacting female numbers than any other numbers, and especially in context of India, because you see how the household responsibilities are defined for females in general, how the entire ecosystem of education in turn is impacting female working at workspace. So the representation is very, very lopsided, and in a lot of professions anyway it's too skewed. Keeping those professions out of mind, also the professions where probably the financial sector, the corporate sector in general. So if you see manufacturing is already very skewed, if you see even bureaucrats it's very skewed, if you see army it's completely a no.
Yeah.
So there are so many professions that are anyway defined for males, which are prominent professions in India. So then if you ask me number wise, probably I might not have stats on my hands, but from the entire knowledge of how the space is, it's extremely skewed. And the times when things were changing, COVID has hit in. So we just need to acknowledge this, see how we can still make it much more flexible and better for females in these challenging times, retain them. Because if females start dropping out now, we're gonna go back a couple of years in the entire system. And somewhere the females who are reaching the top are the ones who are defining the culture for the new ones to come in. So if there is a dropping out of a female at a middle management and a top management level, it's a big, big loss for the company, for overall culture, and for the other females to come in, especially in the Indian context.
Yeah, Shalini, please.
Yeah. Now Gitika Yadav through YouTube, she's asking how women leadership is different than men leadership. So I think we are getting the common questions.
I think a lot of members have joined late.
Yeah, that's why. So there are 2-3 questions which is coming again and again. Another one is there are so many talks around women. That's like cat fight at work. Do share some light. So these are the 2 common questions which we are getting again and again.
I think I've answered both.
I think they'll need to visit the recording. Right. We need fresh inputs rather than repeat what has been said. But yeah, it's been a very interesting discussion. And I think the ideal person is you, Akshata. You're successful. You're a woman. You've been through a lot of senior roles, leadership roles, and especially in the advisory capacity as well. When we saw you in CII and a couple of other like Harvard, CII, all these were, I think, a true acceptance of the threshold you were at and which you later on did cross. So I don't know if we're going to have repeat questions. I don't think we should take them, but if there's any fresh ones, that's fine. But at the end,
otherwise I can just share. Yeah. Otherwise I'll just share, Rohit. Probably I'm saying that if there are no fresh questions as such, so probably I would like to share a few things which might have worked for me in general, and maybe might help certain members.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so somewhere, Rohit, like all the answers that I've given, part of the entire heat I've also felt in different capacities, might be inside the corporate, might be outside the corporate, might be with certain specific set of people, inside, outside, across. So that remains, and that's not gonna go overnight. So to expect a very rosy word immediately is probably not going to happen. One thing that I never gave up is being myself, which had both positives and negatives attached to it, because and the minute you start reading too much into what the world is expecting from you, what people are expecting from you, you can't be as per everybody's expectation, as simple as that. And so the only thing that you can really do is be yourself, and the strength that you get from your core, I don't think that strength you can get from anywhere else, as long as You're very true and honest to the position you're holding, to the cause that you're working for. So and this journey is not easy. Like initially, if you become too friendly with, say, as a normal personality, if say you're very social, maybe certain tags will come along that she's very easygoing, oh she's just like that. If you're too strict, or probably you're too reserved as a person, then there can be tags which can come, oh she's very snooty, she's very arrogant, she thinks
Hmm.
she's way too much. So
Yeah.
there, and be ready, be very much, be accepting to such words. When they come to you, they definitely hurt, they definitely rile you up, but this is how it is, and this is how it's going to be for some time, till all these efforts what we are trying to do right now, and even otherwise so many other forums, so many other members are doing to change things, and things will change. And the way things will change, the way I see that happening, is definitely much more representation, courage, strong will females coming, mentoring and supporting others. At the same time, now let me talk about the other gender, which we have not spoken at all about as such, males. At workplace also, there are gems of males who are there, who understand this side, who have their wives who are of very good potential, who are working, who keep probably discussing their issues at home and whatever. They are extremely good mentors and supporters. So in my career, I would say I've had mix of all. And again, I have a very short stint till now to even speak about, but yes, short stint, but very very rich with experiences. I love it all, the way I've lived it. So in that, I've had the fortune of being with extremely supportive, the ones who probably keep instilling the energy and strength in me. They just keep going. You're going right, keep going. And in that, Rohit being one of the mentors for sure, who off work I keep in touch with. So yes, trust overall, things are changing. Trust, and the main thing is trust in yourself. Don't change. Yes, do change if your own source is telling you that probably there's something that you need to change and it's not working for you yourself. Do reflect on it. Don't be very much anti that, okay, because I'm a female everything is happening to me like that. Don't be in that tune also. Have a fair judgment. Be very honest to yourself. Rather, I would just say be honest to yourself. Your self will tell you where things are wrong externally versus what things you need to change in yourself. But yes, keep going, keep going.
Great, great. Thank you for that. And I'm sure this is going to be running for a week, so I'm sure a lot of people will benefit by that sound advice which you have given. And I'm sure questions will come up. We will route them to you later on, as and when they do.
Sure, sure,
Please,
Rohit.
yeah. And with that, I think, Sharli, if there's nothing more, shall we close? It's close to an hour now.
Yes, thank you so much, Akshita, for guiding us and guiding all of us.
My pleasure.
That was really awesome. So wonderful to hear about your experience and outlook. So many eye openers, like questions were asked and you answered them. Thank you, Akshita, for this talk. Thank you, audience.
Definitely my pleasure.
We
I
hope.
just hope I have not offended anyone.
No,
Yeah.
it was really wonderful. We hope
Thank you.
Akshita talk has made a difference in our life and in everybody's life and personal goals and visions. Please don't forget, our course on women in leadership is free for all women for 2021. With that, we wish you all good day or a good night and hope to see you all next Sunday at same time with another topic on women leadership. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Akshita. Thank you, audience. Thanks, Shalini.
Bye bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you, everybody. Bye bye. See you.